Hello, my name is Anaí Gutierrez, and I have an addiction. It's something that slowly grew and became more serious. I believe that it is untreatable due to the life that I live and the resources that I am surrounded by. My younger cousins at the age of 10 and 11 also face this addiction. And although their case isn't as advanced now, I know that as time progresses, their addiction will be far more advanced than mine. However, this addiction has allowed me to see this. Message loved ones that are halfway across the world, and help my cousin monitor her glucose levels because she has diabetes.
I do admit, I do not know why I made that intro so sad, but it is an addiction of mine, and I don't know if I should say that I'm proud of it, because technology has come a really long way. Looking back, no more than 50 years ago, there was no such thing as a cell phone that had no buttons. And it's crazy to me how far we've come along in such a short amount of time. Through this video, I'll show you guys both positive and negative aspects of technology. And then I'll let you guys decide if it's beneficial to us or not. In order to get a sense of what technology was like back then, we're going to look at the communication, education, and how our health has been affected, each of which are very distinct and individual examples that I will give, and we'll see that there's both a positive and negative aspect to each one of them. Let's start off with communication. Nowadays, most people have their own PC, their own laptop, tablet. They will always have their smartphone on them. This has really contributed greatly to the way that we communicate. Back then, it was disrespectful to not even look at your elders in the eye when you were talking to them. Nowadays, I see it with my own cousins. They'll look at my grandpa will look back at them, they'll answer as they're walking away. If we think about it, our younger siblings were never taught to follow the same manners as we used to, or as they were taught back then. And this has really affected the way that we communicate. Now there are apps that do thousands and thousands of things, whether it be games, whether it be social media, whether it be things to create files on your computer. Each app has a purpose, and that purpose is to make things easier that we used to do back then. If we think about it, if I wanted to communicate to somebody across the world, I would used to have to write a letter. And it took time and it was very tedious. You had to write the letter, send the letter, wait weeks, probably months to get a reply. And by then you had to hope that they would answer your questions. This all contributes to why technology has evolved. We want to make things easier on ourselves. So with that, the apps that have been created are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Messages, and Mail. Each of these apps have an entire and specific purpose. For example, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, they're in order to let people know what you're doing, what you're up to. This really cuts down on how we communicate to each other. Rather than making an effort to go and talk to somebody and tell them, I did this today, or have them ask you how your day was, it's really being cut out of everybody's general routine. And looking back, each one now has their own form of DMing people, or direct messages. And that also really significantly cuts down on talking to the person across from you. Yes, I have fallen victim to sending a text to the person in the same room as me. But if we think about it, are we really getting lazy, or are we being efficient? I could get up, talk to the person, and then come back, sit down. But why do that when I can send a text within seconds and get a reply just as fast? However, the simple fact is that technology is making things more efficient and faster, which makes things easier for us. So is it really a good thing that we're losing communication face to face, but gaining it in a totally different way? Now we will talk about education. and how technology has made its way into the way that we learn. Back then, it was all pen and paper, teacher to student interaction. Sitting at the desk with your pencil in hand, ready to take notes, talk to the class, and talk one on one with the teacher. Well, now there's more options than just doing that. You don't even have to be in the classroom in order to take the class now. You can be in the comfort of your own home, sitting next to a fireplace, next to your favorite good old lamp, and hey, maybe even in your PJs. But that still has changed how we live our lives now. You're able to get certificates by just taking online courses, when back then you had to get up, walk to school in most cases, or drive yourself if you had the ability to, and learn. You had to make the effort to go to school. Now, with all these changes, if we look at it, all the textbooks are now online. 65% of books have been converted to ebooks. 65% on the entire world. That means that all of the non-ebook are old scriptures and texts that aren't used anymore. But if we think about it, that just shows us how far technology has come. Scan the book, put it on, and anybody can access it online, rather than going to the library, taking time out of your day, and really taking time to read it, because now people are able to get a book with an audio, and they're able to just listen to the book. This introduces new ways of learning as well. People tend to learn better when they're more in their own space as an individual and really are independent. Maybe they learn better one-on-one, but they don't feel like they're able to go ask the teacher because they're not comfortable. But that lets them talk to the professor when they want and how they would like to, as long as their professor allows it. And now technology has even made it into the classroom, to where the student is able to ask questions to the teacher about the technology that is being taught or used in order to teach. But is this really a good thing? Sure, it helps many people gain access anywhere on the world. Are we losing our cognitive abilities while learning in these new ways? Let's take writing, for example. According to Melissa Puntry, a pediatric occupational therapist who specializes in handwriting difficulties in children, told The Guardian that she's concerned by how many children are developing handwriting skills at a later age because of technology. Children are not coming into school with the hand strength and dexterity that they had 10 years ago. Children coming into school are being given a pencil but are increasingly not able to hold it because they don't have the fundamental movement skills. So we're losing the ability to hold a pencil in the normal way that we used to 10 years ago. In just 10 years that changed, and this is due to technology. In the article, she explains how we are used to holding iPads and iPhones in a specific way, and that this is training our fingers to move in specific ways as well. So when we try to hold a pencil, it changes that completely and we don't even know how to use it. So it's just as if you were to give a caveman an iPhone. They wouldn't know how to use it, they wouldn't know how to really, let alone work it. So if you gave a child who has been using an iPad their entire life and then give them a pencil, they're not going to know how to use it. So simple fact is that we're losing key concepts that we used to have 10 years ago. And this can affect us because it's been proven that you are able to learn much better if you write it out. It's the connection between hand and your brain and the neurons that connect it that allow you to learn in a different way. And a way that is not through a screen or through apps, but it really makes the information that you are being taught more solid and allows you to retain it even longer. So there are trade-offs to technology being implicated in education. We can help others learn in different ways, while at the same time we're losing concepts that we've had for thousands of years. Is it a good thing? Now, let's go over the health aspect of how technology has been affecting it. First, we'll start off with a quote from Vinayak K. Pathak, and he is from the National Cancer Institute. And in his 2011 science paper, he stated that it is predicted that by 2025, dementia and Alzheimer's will be little to non-existent. Cancer treatments will not have so many harmful side effects and will not be as painful. And it is so predicted that type 1 diabetes will be completely preventable by then, due to human genome engineering. Human genome engineering. This is by changing the DNA within us. Back then, we didn't even know that we were mostly all identical except for a few changes in our nucleotides within our DNA. But now looking at it, we're able to change that and change the way that our bodies are composed to prevent diseases. This is astonishing if we think about it. In just 7 years, all of this is able to happen. But with all these technological advances in the medical field, we have to look at what's happening now with all the technology that isn't. And if we think about it, when I sent that text to my friend in the same room, 1 time probably turned into 2 times. And 2 times turned into 5 times, maybe even now 50 times. Who knows? But all the times that I was able to get up and tell her and exercise, I really didn't. It was something that was easier to me. And another example, I was writing my paper the other day. And it took me 4 hours to write a paper, and after that I felt drained because of all the thinking I had to do and all of that. And I just fell asleep and didn't wake up till the next day. Granted, it was at night, but I could have gotten up, walked a little, and then gone to sleep. That really didn't happen. So is technology making us lazy? Or is it improving the way that we do it and we're the only ones not taking the initiative in order to maintain healthy? If we think about it, obesity is a very, very large topic that has been roaming around for a long time now. And it really started when technology started to get more accessible to everyone. And this just goes to tell that there is probably a direct correlation between the two, technology and obesity. The more technology that we do, it's probable that the more obese a person may be. That is, it's different for everybody on the world. However, it's still something to think about. Well, I guess this is the end of my video. But I kind of want to end it the way it started. So we'll go back to that sad music. Actually, it was just something I put together on the piano. But we'll go back to that and we'll conclude this video. And we'll let you contemplate over the things we went over. Communication, education, and health. Is there anything that you want to change in your life now? Maybe the way you talk to people, or if you have the opportunity to talk to them. Or maybe it's you want to try to talk to your professor instead of emailing them. Or maybe it's just getting up to tell your friend hi rather than texting it if they're in the same room. Who knows? Are there going to be any subtle small changes that you make? Or are you going to let technology continue to advance and change?
Technology has come a long way within the last 50 years. Now it's up to you to decide. Each advancement benefits us entirely. Because technology will only continue to improve from here. What will you do as new advancements are introduced to a world that once had no trace of technology?